Hey guys, welcome to Entertainment Talk Nation. I'm your host Rob. This video we're going to do a little discussion of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Okay guys, welcome back. So Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. doesn't return until February 4th, which is next Tuesday, but I decided to do this video because a lot of news has been spurring up on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. that I believe potentially can take the show to another level. Now I know there's a lot of people out there who watched the show the first 1, 2, or 3 episodes and completely gave up on it. And you know what? It's understandable. I have my own rule where I will give a show about 5 episodes before I decide whether or not I want to give up on it. And obviously, because I saw a couple episodes after the first 3 that I felt were fairly successful, I stuck with the show. And I got to say, for the most part, I'm pretty happy I did. It's progressively gotten better. It still needs a lot of improvement, but if they take advantage of some of this recent news I've been hearing, then I believe it can go to that next level. Now, the first thing is Bill Paxton, obviously, and I'm sure a lot of you know this for the handful of people who watch my Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. videos. You know, Bill Paxton's going to be on the show for, I think, a 4-episode story arc, and he's going to be playing a character that's actually in the comic. Now, his character's name, and I have it here, John Garrett, who was a former S.H.I.E.L.D. agent, has some ties with Coulson and stuff like that. There's also news that Jamie Alexander, who plays Lady Sif in the Thor movies, will also be making a special guest appearance. So I'm looking forward to that. You know, she had a small role in the 2 movies, but for the most part, you know, she was an enjoyable character, very, very good on the eyes, of course. And then I think the biggest news, and the one thing I'm most looking forward to, is that because I like this character from day one. He was Mike Peterson was the first character on the show where many people speculated at the time that they thought he was going to be playing Luke Cage. Well, while they were wrong about Luke Cage, they weren't wrong about him eventually turning into a Marvel hero character, or lack thereof. He's apparently going to be playing, I think, Deathlock, I think the name is. I'm not too familiar with the comic character. I've heard the name. It's not one of the more popular villains in the comic world, but enough so that I think it's going to give the show a little bit of an oomph. So that was pretty exciting, and I gotta say, if they use these elements correctly, I think they really, or if they have used them correctly, because obviously these have been filmed already, I really think it's gonna give it that nudge that it needs to get over that hump, because, you know, it got off to such a bad start. It really hasn't recovered since then. So I'm really looking forward to Bill Paxton, and we all know who Bill Paxton is. I'll pull a picture of him up right here, and you know, obviously the original Terminator, he was one of those thugs, and he was in Aliens. Twister. I mean, he's been doing movies for years. He's done a lot of very, very good movies, and it's going to be very exciting to see him on board. Now, in terms of the character that Mike Peterson is going to be portraying, I'll I'll get a picture of him up here. So there he is. That is, I think, as I said, I think it's Deathlock or something along those lines. You know what? Let me confirm that real quick. Okay, so yeah, so Mike Peterson will be transforming into Deathlock, which is a Marvel villain, I believe, and we're not too familiar with him. I might have read him in a couple of my comics back in the day, but I think he is a villain, and he is going to be on the show. And I think this is what I'm talking about back in the day when I'm like, they should leverage some of the lower tier comic book characters. I think this is a good utilization of this character. We'll pull a picture up of Deathlock right here from the comics. So there he is. That's who he's going to be portraying on the show. I think it's going to be very exciting now, because if you're going to pull in a super villain, then you're probably going to be pulling in a superhero pretty soon. Obviously, Bill Paxton's character might fill that role, but like I said, I think it's only a 4-episode arc, so we probably won't be seeing him for, you know, a long period of time. Maybe in the future he'll spot in here and there for the series, but who knows. But I think going from February 4th on, because they still have about 10 episodes to do, I think it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. And so if there's anyone out there, you know, on the channel that's, you know, checking out this video and you were watching Agents of Shield and you stopped watching it, again, I encourage you to give it a second shot. Especially now with all this recent news, with the addition of Bill Paxton, the addition of Deathlock, the villain from the comics, as well as Lady Sif making a special appearance. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So, yeah, that's it. I just wanted to do a short video on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. because we're going to go back to reviewing it. You know, I was considering dropping it from the channel. You know, and not because I was going to stop watching the show, simply because there's just not enough people out there that like the show, and it really is probably one of the lowest viewed videos on my channel. But I want to continue to give it a chance, at least until the end of this season. And if I see that the views don't pick up, I probably won't do it again next year. I might continue to watch the show, but I may not do the reviews on here. So, you know, but, you know, I would encourage you, give it a shot. It looks like it's really going to start getting a lot better. And, again, I personally like the end of the midseason and all that stuff, the whole Agent Coulson thing, Sky thing. I thought that was all good stuff. I think it's really improved a lot. So, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. But I think it's exciting news. Bill Paxton, we finally got a comic book character coming into the fold, and we got a special guest appearance from one of the Thor characters. And that's going to be interesting to see where she plays into this because yeah, it's just they've done a lot of Asgard stuff, so I'm wondering what she's going to be linked to. But you know, a lot of good stuff to come in the show, I think. So definitely give it another shot if you, you know, if you happen to watch the first few episodes and gave up on it, I would consider giving it another shot. So that's it, guys. Just wanted to share my thoughts on that. Share this news that is not breaking. It's not new. This has been out for a little bit, but I often don't do videos on stuff with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Almost Human. Any of the in-between stuff I don't do too much. I kind of do the in-between stuff with Game of Thrones and The Walking Dead because those are like my number 1 and 2 shows. But I thought this was pretty important, and I wanted to share it with people who maybe don't know about it. All right, that's it, guys. Take it easy, and I'll see you next video.